What's up, guys? We are today going over my musical instrument collection as promised in previous videos. Today I'm just going to give you a brief overlook of all the instruments I own. This is my instrument room, and granted, not every instrument in this room is mine. Some of them do belong to my good friend Wyatt Sawyer. He just kind of keeps them here because he doesn't have room at his house for them, but we're going to go over everything that is mine. I might cover what is his so that you guys don't get confused in future videos. And I do have a project instrument in this room right now, so you guys will have a look at that. It's a drum set I'm working on. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you have seen the drum set. It's the Project Purple Kit is what I've been calling it. I'm still working on getting some new heads and hardware for it, so once I get that, it should be a pretty dope little kit. And so yeah, let's just hop into it. The first instrument I have ever owned is this trumpet right here. It is a Yamaha, I believe. No, it is a Jupiter. It is a Jupiter trumpet. My parents bought this for me my 8th grade year when I decided to get back into band. And this is just the trumpet I've had ever since then. I've only got one mouthpiece for it. It's not really the most comfortable mouthpiece in the world, but good mouthpieces are really expensive. Like we're talking $300-400 range for a really good mouthpiece that I enjoyed playing on the one time I had the chance to play on it. But as far as equipment for that goes, I've got a lyre which you hook into the trumpet down here ish to hold on to your music. Trumpet players know that. I've got an electric mute that I use for practicing. This actually cancels all noise out of the trumpet. All you can really hear is a slight buzz, but you actually plug your headphones into it and you can hear yourself practice that way. And then I've got your typical jazz mute right here, so that's pretty cool too. Second instrument I ever owned. My parents gave this to me. This was originally my sister's instrument because she played this far before I ever did, but I play it more recently and more frequently than she did, so my parents gave me this to practice. This is my French horn. It is in fact only a single horn, so it is a little more difficult to practice the parts I play on this particular instrument because most colleges and schools use what is known as a double horn, which is essentially the same thing, only it has twice as many valves and a thumb trigger. Much more difficult to get proper tone out of a double horn, by the way. But I've never had any issues with this. I use it for practicing rhythm more than I do my notation, so that's kind of where that comes into play. So moving on to percussive instruments. This is the first drum set I ever bought. It is a Gretsch Energy Kit. It is want to say either a 24 or a 26-inch bass drum circumference-wise. I'm not entirely certain on what the depth of the drum is. I want to say the depth is somewhere between 24 to 36 inches. It's a big bass drum. And then it's got a 14, a 16, and a 20-inch tom. I don't know if I got that on camera. I'll flash it back over here. And then the typical snare. I have actually recently replaced all the heads on this drum kit, so now it sounds amazing, and I've got the gels on it. As you can see, and some of you may have noticed that I actually have a gel on this cymbal, but that's because everything except for this crash right here, which is broken, actually you can see that right there, are the stock cymbals. So this one rings really badly without the gel, so I just stuck one of the extra gels I had on that cymbal to cancel out the ringing, and it sounds really good right now for a stock cymbal. I need to get some new cymbals on it, but that should be happening sometime soon. And I actually do have a studio ring on my bass drum. I don't have a foam ring inside it yet. I need to get that going, and I need a double pedal. I do not have a double pedal, but that would be really nice to have one. As far as other percussive instruments I own go, I have this. It's called an iTap, which essentially, it's a lap cajon. It's a cajon that sits on you instead of you sitting on the cajon. It's kind of cool. It can fit in any backpack or satchel so you can take it with you wherever you go to practice rhythm. I really enjoy it. I get a lot of use out of it. I'll just be bored and I'll just tap on it. And then I've got a little egg shaker maraca. It was only like 25 cents. And then over here is actually the snare to the Project Purple kit. I need to get a new head on that. I need to get some new wiring on it. And I have all the hardware for the drum heads. Try and get in there. There we go. For Project Purple kit, right there. This is actually the floor tom for Project Purple kit. This is really the only piece of the drum set that is done. The rest of the pieces probably need another coat or two of paint. So we'll be working on that again very soon. Get some drum heads ordered for it. Get a sound port for the bass drum, which I just installed a sound port on my bass drum yesterday. It was actually. No, it was Monday. I did it on Monday. Today's Wednesday because I got off of work around 4, stopped at my local guitar shop, picked up a sound port, slapped it on there. Considering that's my first time ever putting a sound port on a bass drum, I think it turned out pretty well. And then we just got my mic stand. I need a new mic. Buddy of mine broke the mic I did have, which was actually Wyatt's mic, so I need to get a new one. And now on to my guitars. The one video I have on the channel in which I am playing guitar, it is actually not my guitar. I was playing my father's acoustic guitar. I'm going to set you guys down. Or I'm going to try to set you guys down so that I can still talk about guitars as I bring them up. Alright, that works. The light's kind of annoying, but we'll work through it. I'm still recording on my phone, guys. I will be getting a camera as soon as I can. But let's just get into the guitars. So this is the first guitar I ever purchased. It is the Schecter Stiletto Vintage Bass. It is a bolt-on neck, active electronics. It is a full octave bass, full 2-octave bass, which means it has 24 extra jumbo frets. This is an amazing bass. I have never had any issues with it. I lied. I had one issue with it. I bought this bass about 1.5 to 2 years ago when I had no clue how to play bass. I bought this bass not because I wanted to play bass. I bought this bass because I thought to myself, standing in that guitar shop, you know what would look really cool sitting in my bedroom? This bass. But then I actually started playing. My dad told me I needed to change the strings because my tone was suffering. Cool. I get a new pack of strings. I go to replace the strings. And I tightened my low E all the way into tune without putting any of the other strings on. And it put too much stress on the nut. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but it actually broke my nut off. And I had to wood glue that back on and wait another 3 days to put the rest of the strings on. Actually, you might be able to see it better on that side if the camera will focus, which I do not think it's going to. But yeah, that's a really cool first instrument, stringed instrument I should say, that I've owned. I've been really happy with it. Out of all the basses I own 3. It easily has the best tone. It's just annoying trying to keep up with the 9-volt batteries because I go through the batteries like crazy. It's unbelievable. So put that back on the rack. And we've got this, which is an Epiphone Gothic Thunderbird bass. The Thunderbird refers to the body style of the bass, and well, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this bass. It's a fantastic bass, don't get me wrong. I am in love with this bass. I love everything about it. It plays really well. The neck feels really nice. The action is right where I like it to be. There's not a whole lot of buzzing from the pickup, so that's really nice. My buddy Wyatt actually bought this bass for me when I was talking about needing a passive bass because the only bass I had at the time was my Schecter bass. So he bought this for me because it is, in fact, flip it around here, it is a bolt-on neck. You know, you'll see that's a common theme of mine. All of my guitars are bolt-on, and it is a passive bass, which means it does not take a battery in order to work. So I have always enjoyed playing this bass. It's a really nice bass, and I am so grateful to Wyatt for buying that for me. This bass is the Epiphone Gibson. Really weird looking headstock. Just put some new strings on it the other day. I got this bass for free. I had a coworker where I work at Perkins who bought this thing about 2 years ago. And he said he just never got any use out of it. So I told him I play bass and I'd come and look at it. And he goes, cool. I come and look at it. It's a pretty good bass. All things considered, it's a pretty good starter bass. I don't have any issues with it. The neck is very smooth to play on, which I was not expecting. It is a bolt-on neck. It's a passive bass, so that's another cool thing about it. So he just kind of gave it to me along with a Peavey Max 112 amp, which, if you guys don't know, a Max 112 is a pretty big practice amp. It would be okay for like house gigs, but as far as bar gigs and everything go, I wouldn't recommend it. You'd probably need something a little bigger for bar gigs. But yeah, that was a free bass and a free amp. And the amp is outstanding, so that's really what I wanted it for. Now, my first guitar is an Ibanez RGAR 200. It is a locked nut and a false Floyd Royce on the guitar. For those of you who don't know, a locked nut essentially just helps keep the guitar in tune longer. The only thing, so you lock your nut up here and you can't really tune it anymore from these. So you have additional tuning pegs down here. So this guitar is tuned in standard tuning, EAD GBE right now. In order to actually put it in, say, drop D, drop C, maybe drop A, I'd actually have to unlock the nut and then drop to the guitar and drop it an extra step. So that way when you put the nuts back on, it'll tighten the strings again and you'll be right where you want it to be. And then you fine tune it with your tuners down here. This is a fantastic guitar. I am very happy with this purchase. My guitar shop does not normally carry Ibanez guitars. So when I saw this in there, I knew I had to get it. Because where else am I going to get an Ibanez guitar? And I only paid $350 for this because they had it and they're used. And I am very happy with this guitar. Second and only guitar I have is the Schecter C6 Plus. It is not the deluxe model. The deluxe model has a lock tuner, which I like the lock tuner, but I also like being able to freely tune to whatever I want the guitar to be at. So this is the magenta or pink Schecter C6 Plus. It is a Diamond Series guitar, much like my bass. It is a bolt-on neck and a passive guitar. It has one volume knob and one tone knob, and this is an outstanding guitar. I have amazing tone out of this. The only thing I would change about this guitar is the pickups, which I'm probably going to switch to EMG pickups here pretty soon, because EMG pickups are really good at canceling that buzz that you get from your amp when you have distortion or overdrive applied to your guitar. I love this guitar. I haven't had any issues with it. It plays very well. It feels amazing. I don't ever complain about the way it sits on my lap or the way it feels while I have it slung around my neck on a strap. It's a very comfortable, very easily playable guitar. And that is actually all of my personal instruments. I'm not going to go over my friend Wyatt's instruments. I'm going to get permission from him to do that, and then that might have a separate video so that you guys kind of understand what guitars in my videos I'm using are mine and what guitars I'm using are not. I'm actually getting a new guitar here pretty soon, and I will be uploading a video that is me essentially. I already know what the guitar looks like, but you guys don't. So that is going to be an unboxing video for you guys, so I can give you. I haven't played the guitar yet, and I will not play the guitar until I get it in this room. So that video will pretty much be my first impression of the guitar, how I think it feels, how I think it plays. And if you guys like that style of video or like that idea of that style of a video, let me know in the comments down below. And that's really all I have for you guys today. I will try to update you on my collection around the same date next year, but if you guys also like the idea of unboxing videos, let me know and I will do those whenever I get a new guitar into this room, and we can go from there. So thank you, leave a like and subscribe, and